I faced the Scandinavian defense today, guys, and I normally struggle with this opening because it seems like white just gets better development, better piece activity, and it looks just prettier for white, but somehow there's some hidden magic in the Scandi where black is just like equal. And yeah, today I got a decent position against it. We won in 21 moves. So I'm going to go through that game today at 95% accuracy, I think. So I think it was a good little demonstration versus the Scandi. All right, so we got queen out, and now I hit the queen. Now they either go here or here. I prefer it when they go to the side because you can create some alignment issue with the bishop, but yeah, Scandi players are used to this, and they'll very rarely fall for anything on this diagonal. But the only thing I really know that's got me up to this level so far is d4. You've got to push. If you play like d3, I'm sure the engine just says it's. I'll turn the engine off because it's going to make my recording lag. But I'm sure the engine says it's just like inaccurate, even. So you've got to push d4. And then, yeah, we set up this alignment issue. They come out. I just develop some pieces. Always looking for an opportunity to move the knight with some threat on the queen. Keep developing. I was just looking to maybe hit this square. So they block it off. And now castles, and they develop. So now we get really into the fun. So here I see an opportunity to sort of hit the queen, and it didn't seem amazing, but it seemed like I was making some progress. And I went for this idea. It was very, very subtle, but I just went for this so I can get rid of this knight. Because if this knight's here, I can't defend this pawn with a pawn. So imagine pieces get traded and we go into an endgame here. Rooks get doubled on this line and hit this pawn. I mean, maybe I could play knight back. But I just wanted to push this pawn and solidify a structure like that. So I went for this line, hitting the queen. And then trading. And then going to pin the knight. I mean, probably not a great move since the bishop's already developed. Maybe this would have been better, or bringing a rook. But, I mean, all these moves are fine. So they kick the bishop. Now I can come back here, but sometimes there's tactics where they jump and attack your bishop. But often there you can just take and you're hitting the queen. But I decided to come back this way. Seems like a good diagonal for the bishop. And they castle. Now I jump in with the knight. They develop the rook. Now here I didn't know what to do. Do you start attacking? I mean, do you start taking space on this side? It's difficult, really, this. And in these sorts of positions, you got to ask yourself, like, whose pieces are better? Which piece is my worst piece, for example? The knight's obviously pretty good. The bishop's supporting the knight. Sort of looking at their king as well a little bit. So my worst piece here, I think, is the light square bishop, which is just biting on granite. These two pawns here. So we relocate it and trade off for their good bishop. So it seems like a nice trade for me. So they come out hitting the bishop. I slide back. And here. Now I want you to take a second, guys. Spot the move. Best move for white. So I know a lot of people would just take, not really think about it. But that would be good for black, I say, because their queen gets in. It's looking at our king. It's not very pleasant. This, and let's say this. They're threatening mate. Like, we don't need to go down this line. So the best move here, great move, was pawn up, blocking, kicking them back, opening the rook. Queen can swing over. Rook can be lifted now. We can start attacking maybe. So I swing the queen over just to hit the loose piece and also pressure this pawn along with maybe the bishop if we ever push. So knight moves back, and here I knew I was better because I knew this was a concession because it's a sort of weird pawn structure. Pushing pawns in front of their king when I'm going to be attacking. Maybe I could sack the knight on that pawn, take, and maybe take back with a queen, or this, and then sack. So I knew this was bad, and their knight would still be on the edge of the board. And I knew this was definitely bad because in the last few moves, they've just returned to where they were, and I've actually made some progress here. So given that I'm better, I want to keep pushing my advantage. So find the move here, guys, really important. Because if we just waste time here, I mean, rook over would probably be okay. If we waste time, I think black just equalizes. Spot the move. So it's bang. It's boom. It's pawn up. Cracking their position open. And trying to get in with some pieces. Why am I attacking and they're not? Because I've got one more piece. Well, maybe you could argue I've got three more. I've got three. I've got +3 almost here. I've got 4 pieces attacking. And they've got 1 defender. So there's the rule of +3, which says that I should be able to attack successfully here. So they take. And now I consider taking back with the queen or the rook. Now I want you to make a decision here, guys, because this is important as well. Which piece would you take back with? So I looked at queen takes, and I guess we're pressuring this square, but rook always defends. And I don't know how you dislodge the knight to ever attack this square. So I instead use this free tempo to start doubling up my rooks. They create counterplay, they're trying to open up the board a little bit so they can mobilize their pieces to defend. And I uncork something, guys. I uncork an absolute bomb. Bishop takes, brilliant move. Now, this sort of thing isn't normally brilliant. It's normally bad. This, and normally, the key defensive idea to remember here, guys, is knight back. Taking away this square, opening up the queen and bishop to defend. But in this case, knight back doesn't work. So I want you to spot the winning idea for white. And yeah, you probably see it now. So it's, yeah, just rook over. Just threatening to take the knight. And in my I mean, it's easy to see it there, but here, I had to calculate that. You know, this, and whatever they do, this was most likely. They cannot stop the mate there. And the other line I looked at is if this, and say they try and mobilize their queen, it's just mate in 1. So the knight was sort of buggered if it moved, as it did in the game, because it falls to this and there's no way of defending the square. And then the knight was, you know, buggered if it didn't move, because we just get mate in 1. So a very nice game against the Scandi. Been grinding it on the road to 2000 on my own, guys. I've fallen like 50 points away from my 1900 highs. I know, sad times, but we're gonna get it back. So yeah, like and subscribe if you want to join me on the journey, and see you next time. Cheers.